So what up guys, we're at the lake today. We're going to be doing some bank fishing, but I got some info last week that this lake was almost iced off, so decided to come out today and give it a try, and it's actually completely iced off. Supposedly last week it was maybe halfway, but today it's completely iced off. And I'm going to start out today with one of my favorite techniques to try when the lakes are kind of freshly iced off. One thing that usually means is that the water is still fairly cold, and for me, with cold water, the fish usually want slower retrieves. So when I'm bait fishing in cold water, one thing I like to do is I like to fish an indicator and let the waves kind of jig my flies for me. That way I'm fishing a real slow retrieve pattern, pulling it in real slow, and it seems to help with the cold water. And sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does. I can also take off the indicator and fish static with just the line, or like a midship or a float line. But today I decided to go with an indicator to help the flies jig, just because it's pretty windy today. It's usually like that in March, but picked this nice little spot right here. The water looks pretty awesome, and I'll just show you my setup real quick. So I have about a 12-foot leader right now. I'm expecting the fish to be maybe 12 to 15 feet. It's about what my leader is, but I have the indicator up top. A few feet down from it I have just a little snatcher, and then even further down from that we have just a purple bugger, and then on point we have just a black leech pattern, and that's all I'm going to start with. It's about a 12-foot leader, and it's just a straight leader. There's no tapered leader. When I'm lake fishing, I rarely ever use a tapered leader. It's just straight. I think it's just 8-pound fluorocarbon. So we'll get started and see how it goes. Hopefully we can get some fish on camera today. One thing that's kind of important when you're fishing this is to make sure your flies land in line with each other, because if not, just like when you're river fishing, you're not going to be able to feel the takes. So it's important to stay in contact with it. If you see your flies land pretty good, you don't, maybe just give it like a half a pull to straighten them out. But if they didn't land straight, you're going to need to give it a few pulls to straighten them out, and that's just so you stay in contact with your flies. Here we go guys, first fish of the day. Oh, dropped him. Sorry guys, we're about an hour into fishing. I've only had one fish so far. I haven't had it on for a bit, and that's about it. So I moved spots. Gonna stick with this method maybe another 30 minutes, and if not, I'll go the pulling buggers on an intermediate line. But so far, just one fish. Here we go, first fish of the day. Didn't take long. This is only the second cast since I moved here. Took the black leech. Here we go, first rainbow of the day. Glad to be on the board. Here we go, another one. A little bit bigger fish. Nice looking rainbow. So I just switched up. I took off one of the buggers and I put on a nymph. So I'm actually fishing a couple midges, and then I still have a bugger on point just to weight down the flies. Here we go guys, got a big one on. Got a nice fish on right now. First cast with nymphs on. I don't know if it took a nymph though. Here we go guys, a nice brown. Yeah, solid brown. Oh, missed him. Nice feisty brown, so I can get him this time. Oh yeah, we got him. Right at 18 inches. So my net is an 18-inch net, so that's how I can tell. Just taken off one of the buggers and I put on a nymph, and like first cast with the nymph had one hit. I was actually just checking to see if the camera was on, and the camera was on, and I accidentally turned off the camera, so I don't even know if I got the hook set on that. But as soon as he hit, I could tell it was a big fish. I was thinking that maybe he took the nymph just because I had switched nymphs right before that, but it ended up being on the bugger on point. Here we go, another one. This one is a nice little rainbow this time, not a brown. Nice. So ever since I switched to nymphs, I feel like I've had that big fish, and now like maybe 3-4 casts later, got this rainbow. So it's picked up a little, and I think the only thing I really did different since I switched to nymphs, both of the catches haven't came on the nymphs, but I've lengthened my leader like maybe about 2 feet, 2 or 3 feet. I've lengthened my leader about that much, and so far that's been all the difference. 2 fish pretty quickly. If you're thinking about changing up to just pulling, but with these 2 fish back to back, I might just stick with this for the rest of the session. Here we go, another one. Coming right at me though. Oh. Dropped him. Came right at me. I couldn't manage my line pretty good. Oh, dropped him again. I seen him hit, and I pulled a few times, and then he came back and got it. There we go. Another nice rainbow. Pretty close to the same spot. Don't know if it's the same fish that I missed a few times, but was sitting really close to the same spot. Nice looking rainbows in this lake. There we go, another fish. Another nice rainbow. Another little rainbow. These rainbows here are pretty colorful. They're pretty colored up right now. Took the leech again. I think we have a pod that moved in right there, because it's been the last 5-6 casts. It's been every cast. I've been either getting a bite or getting one on. So they're out there. They're out there about 12 feet down, just sitting there. There we go, another one. Feels like a good one. It's a nice rainbow. A little bit bigger than most of the rainbows I've been catching today. Yeah, nice looking rainbow. Colored up. Some pretty colors on it. So far, the biggest rainbow of the day. It's about a 12-inch fish. Here we go, another one. Another fish on. Right, those back-to-back casts right there. So we found another pod. All the fish today have been on the point and haven't caught anything higher up. I guess that means that all the fish are sitting really deep. So alright guys, I'm gonna end my day here. Overall, it was a pretty decent day. There was moments where it was really slow, and there were times where it picked up real quick and would catch fish right after another and get hits consistently. But for the whole day, I made it a point to stick with fishing the indicator and just little buggers suspended under it, just to fish real slow and static and let the waves do the jigging for me. It gets a little boring at times, but it's pretty good when the fish hit. So overall, pretty solid day. Got a big 18-inch brown. That's it for today. Thanks for watching and subscribe.